Okay, only 2 minutes too late. All right, ladies and gents, welcome back. Tonight's a special night. Tonight's a special stream because it's Thursday, and I don't normally stream on a Thursday, but here I am streaming on a Thursday. And the reason why I'm streaming on a Thursday is tomorrow's not just Friday, it's Good Friday, and I'm not going to be streaming or doing anything that's not with my family on Good Friday. So that's the idea. I'm going to spend the holiday weekend with the family. I'm going to devote my time to that. So that's the reason for the early stream this week. So that'll be Thursday night stream. Everybody, welcome. As I see everybody's piling into the room and joining in. Hello to everyone who's in the chat. I'm seeing the chat up there, but I'm not seeing the chat in the YouTube studio. Let me get this thing going. Hold on. And I have to hit the refresh just to get things up and up because I don't always see this one. It's in the fine print, you know, a little window, a little tiny window. I want to zoom it up. It'd be nice to get it larger on the screen. Welcome in, everyone. Hello, 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 hello. If you're tuning into this after the fact, this is just the long form content where I go over a bunch of the stories that I either couldn't get to or I wanted to get more in depth with than I normally do in the videos that I do in the morning before I go to work. This is where I get to relax, hang out with you guys, and talk about all kinds of stuff. Twitter turned down Elon Musk's offer. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Do we have a link for that? I'd like to check that out because I'm very interested in this. Because what that means, what is implied in that says a lot, and what may go down because of that. So I'd like to check that out, and we'll see what the Twitter board has to say. Because I'm definitely gonna get into that, but I'm gonna get into it in a moment. But if anyone has a link handy for something about what the board actually said in their reply to Elon, that would be interesting, and I'd like to look at that. But for the time being, I wanted to go over a few things. There's a few things I forgot to even go over last stream. So much happens. So much happens in the world every week that you think, hey, I'm going to go over this, and then you don't end up getting to it in the live streams. I give you guys usually like 2 hours of my time on the live streams, and sometimes that's just not enough to cover all the things. At least, well, sometimes you get caught up and you get way too in depth. I know last time I got way enthralled with the economic stuff. I know you guys love it, and some of you love it, some of you hate it, and that's the thing. I got some new glasses, so I could see the words a little bit better. I don't know if they're all that great, though. I'm not super happy with them. They keep sliding down my nose, and that's not good for anything. That's not good for anything at all. So I might have to either get them adjusted or get some different frames. That's they didn't have the frames that I normally like. I like these guys, but these are not my readers, unfortunately. That's the joy of getting old. That's the joy of becoming older, is everything dimming. Everything dims with time. But that's the thing. Elon is for AI agenda against humanity. Be aware. He spoke out against as a warning of AI, so I'm not sure about that. He's definitely made some clear statements on that front. But I know there are a lot of people that believe that AI is going to save us from ourselves, and that's the 2030 crowd. Not really keen on that concept. The idea of essentially trying communism all over again, but because the price mechanism never worked in communism, they think AI will fix that. I really don't think that would. AI should go against WEF. Well, it's the World Economic Forum guys, especially Klaus Schwab, big ol' Schwabi, and Yeah, he thinks AI is gonna save us from ourselves. Grow some big boy ears, and your glasses will stay on proper. Yeah, you guys like the title? Big Elon's big boy pants. Yeah, he put on his big boy pants. That's for sure. It's funny. I'm gonna get into it in a bit. Because I want to talk about some of the other things. The community tab was a thing that I wanted to bring up in the last stream, and I forgot to because just forgot. I mean, so much is going on, so much is flying out there. But yeah, this is the YouTube community tab, and I'm actually having a lot of fun with this. I spend time on Twitter because that's where a lot of the news is aggregated. But I find you guys are more on YouTube, and when I post these memes and stuff, a lot of the memes I get from the Discord server. If you're not part of that, the link is in the description down below, and there's a lot of cool people hanging out there. But I'll find memes that I think are hilarious, and I'll post them in the communities tab. And the communities tab is here on YouTube. And I'm actually kind of stoked on this communities tab. It reaches a lot of you guys, and you guys have been having a lot of fun and a lot of comments, and I've been getting into reading all the comments. It's a lot of fun. The videos, I love you guys' comments. I can't always get to all of them, but I really, really like the fact that there's conversations going in the comments, and that's a big plus, a big old plus. But yeah, some of these memes really got me going. This one I liked a lot. I want to see a comic about the CIA trying to murder Clark Kent and make it look like an accident, not because they know he's Superman, but because he's a really good journalist. Make it a comedy because the CIA assassins can't figure out why their attempts keep failing. I thought that was hilarious. You guys' replies are great. But one I wanted to, and here's the stream rescheduled because we're doing it tonight instead of on Friday. Relax. What's the big deal? It's just a little poke. Want to keep your job, right? Don't be selfish. That's that's getting schwabbed right there. Close Schwab with the nose Schwab. That's right. Subscribe to Samson. Yeah. And where was it? There was one that I wanted to share, and that's this one. So I put this one out to the community because I was at work. This is too funny. This cracks me up, right? So if you guys may not know, maybe you know, but I'm a mechanic by trade. So I'm a Red Seal technician, automotive technician. And on the job last week, it looks like a galaxy. Yeah, there you go. So on the job last week, I had a AC line pop in my face. It was actually a Schrader valve, but nonetheless, it was an AC line. And the thing is, AC to do leak detection can be difficult. So what we do as technicians is we put in a dye that you can't really see. It doesn't show up very under normal light, but as soon as you put ultraviolet light on it, it glows like a bright green color. So that popped in my face, and you couldn't see it unless I put the UV light on me. So I put the UV light on. So yeah, I wrote on the thing, as you may know, during the day I'm a Red Seal mechanic. Today I had an AC line blow up in my face. There's a dye in the refrigerant that shows up under UV light. Go ahead, make your jokes. And man, the comments. You guys are great. Now there's the picture for all to see. There it is right there. Have you seen InfoWars? Alex Jones interviews Dr. Brian Adams. Dr. Brian Adams? Is that really a guy? Just coincidence with the names? Regarding replicating snake venom in the vax. Crazy. Oh, okay. So I saw some stuff on that, and it's the second he got into magnetism and all that. Okay, so first off, magnetic therapy is hocus pocus, and so there's a guy at my work who's double vaxxed, and he went to an MRI just last week. I think it was last week. Now, an MRI, if you know, MRIs can be quite dangerous because they're super high-powered magnets. They're known they're known every once in a while for janitors that aren't familiar with the way MRI works. Is they'll go into the room with the MRI with a floor buffer and quickly have the floor buffer sucked right out of their hands and thrown right into the MRI machine. So yeah, if there was anything magnetic in the vaxes, that would get ripped right out of your body in a MRI scanner. So I mean, just that was just a red flag for me. So I mean, I love looking into all this stuff, but I look into everything with a skeptical eye. Anyway, so here's this is a die. I'm really worried about the toxicity of this stuff. Anyway, some of the comments were just too funny. You're lucky that you had your glasses on. Same thing happened to my brother. He got to the hospital. Oh wow. Okay, that's sad. But yeah, I let everyone make fun of me for the moment. Some of them are great. Clyde and Slimer sitting on a tree. Oh yeah, that's a great picture. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with that. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, my God, like seriously, if you got some spare time, just read through these comments. You got some clever comedians out there in the audience. Amazing. But yes, there's a bunch of stories that I wanted to get to, and I want to make sure that I didn't have anything else that I wanted to put in the queue that I thought was important. Twitter, of course, is a really fun place to hang out. That being said, here's some fun I was having today. So I posted when you post something and more people get more people that aren't in your usual audience get aware of what it is or become aware of what it is that you do. You get new people coming in and criticizing you, and this is a first for me. As we know, when they come after you when you're right above the target. Now, I've been accused of running a disinformation channel. This is the new Orwellian world. That's a badge of honor. I'd like to thank the Academy. So this is somebody saying that I'm a disinformation channel because, what does he say? The worry is other interests of whatever, Space Force. If he takes over, those previous autocratic populist voices be restored. So the idea is populism is a bad thing. Will it become a populist forum of disinformation? Talking about Twitter, essentially, in this post. Because this was, and I'll get to, where was that? No, that wasn't that thread. Here it is. So yeah, this was in reply to my post of just a video that I put out today, saying that Elon Musk was looking to buy Twitter, and he announced it to everyone. Funny thing, because I woke up in the morning, first thing I looked on my phone, and it was the first tweet that popped up, and it was like right as it happened. It was really funny. Twitter is a cesspool. That's right. I tell a lot of people I go to Twitter so you don't have to, but it's funny. And the reason why I want to highlight this is because this is a tactic that people use, right? And it's called sophistry, right? Sophistry is the idea of misrepresenting other people's opinions. It's bad faith arguments, right? So the idea of the bad faith argument. So the worry is other interests of Elon Musk establishment with the U.S. Space Force. If he takes over, will those previous autocratic populist voices be restored? Obviously talking about like Trump and other people that were kicked off Twitter kind of thing. Will it become a populist forum of disinformation? I'd like assurances, or off I go. Well, that's the thing. If you don't like free speech, well, off you go. You don't have to engage in free speech. The idea is to have free speech, and I'm all for what Elon Musk is saying he wants. Like what he says he wants, I'm all for it. Whether that's what he brings, that's a different story, right? But I'm definitely all for free speech and free speech is the idea. No one should be kicked off of Twitter. That's free speech. Yeah, that's correct. I'm all for that, Sophia. So of course I responded. You say populist as if populism was always a bad thing. Here are a few of my favorites throughout history, right? So, you know, Kennedy, Thomas Jefferson, Abe Lincoln, Mahatma Gandhi. You know, these are populists. They were populists. You can't deny that. Populism isn't a bad thing. I don't know why it's being labeled this bad thing. Well, I know why it's being labeled a bad thing, because it's the agenda, right? Let's throw out this agenda of let's get people on board with authoritarian dictatorship. Like that's kind of what the establishment wants us to be on board with, by making us afraid of these populists, right? Populists are terrible, terrible people. Oh no. So the idea of the bad faith argument is to throw it back at them, throw these arguments back at people. If people are arguing in bad faith, I don't see the point of having like a good conversation. There's no point at that point when they're throwing out bad faith arguments. Like you're doing it just to rile them up, and that's being a troll, or you do it for an external audience, you're not trying to convince them, because they're not trying to convince you. They're just trying to straw man you or whatever, right? So this person replied, were any corrupt, in bed with foreign foes, locked up, abused children, tear gas innocent protesters, storm Capitol federal buildings? I mean, you could take this any which way, but I know which way they're throwing this. They're saying the Trump supporters, Trump people bad, people who like capitalism bad. I guess that's the point of this GIF. But you could say, well, what about you know, the elites that are abusing children that this person is you know, on the side of, and how about tear gas that was used on protesters in Canada at the convoy, right? So I replied with my going back at them with the sophistry stuff. No, they just ended slavery, deposed the king, ended colonization of India, fought for a free and open society. But you can keep on sticking it to the man by pointing out words you don't like. And to get a quick reply, sure. Now answer the question, and more of you, or more for you. Can I ask if you are a 45th president supporter? Were you at the Capitol riot? Do you agree with calls for VP Pence to be lynched? Like, this is so, like, what Kathy Newman-esque kind of conversation here. So I just replied with, you may like to know that I'm Canadian. You answer this question. Would you have opposed the abolition of slavery because it was a populist movement? So again, this is a sophistry trick, right? Where you don't answer the question, you indulge somebody with or you engage somebody with a question that takes a little bit of where they were coming from, and then you insert something that they clearly don't support. Like, why would I assume that anyone would support slavery? Because that's a terrible institution. But this is the idea of what sophistry does. And the best part of knowing these tricks is to know when it's being used against you, because the idea is to get your back up and to get you to defend your ideas, but they've already equated your ideas with this bad thing, and then it makes it look like you're defending that bad thing, which is of course not what you're after. it's what they're after. So it's good to know their tricks, and how using it against them is actually the best thing to combat these people with sometimes. And that tends to be the thing. Clyde, I'm a new viewer from MB. Is that MB? I'm guessing you're from the West Coast. Yes, I am from close to Vancouver. Little town called Squamish. Manitoba is MB? Really? That's the abbreviation for M. Why did I not know that? That's funny. Anyway, yeah, I'm from BC. British Columbia. I'm not originally from British Columbia. I'm from Ontario originally. I grew up in Windsor, Ontario. That's where I grew up from about the age of 8. And then when I turned of age, I wanted out of there. That's the thing. Anyway, yeah, because the first thing was I was thinking it was New Brunswick, but I was like, did they put it? Because sometimes M is next to the N on the keyboard, so you never know, right? anyway, getting on with this story. It ends kind of soon, but it's kind of funny. Yes, as a Canadian, I see your point, but in today's super fast, narrowly targeted social media landscape, it's not abolition of slavery. It's reining in more segregation, nationalist dogma to expand, troll, abuse, harm. As a Canadian, is that okay? And again, it's just like, all right, turn it around, throw it back at you, take the thing, turn it around, throw it back at you. So engage in the same thing. I understand why you wouldn't want to move past, or why you would want to move past your opposition to abolishing slavery. And you're right. Segregation is on the rise with policies separating people based on vaccine status and in public spaces and based on race in the classroom. You don't want to start new Jim Crow laws, do you? Of course, it's not genuine. It's disingenuous, right? And with a reply, "Are you okay? Slavery is abhorrent. Wasn't I clear?" And it's like, yeah, of course, it's abhorrent. Trolls are exhausting. Vax, no vax, your choice. Cool. I guess we align with that. Elon Musk is aligned with nationalism. Well, I mean, is there a thing wrong with nationalism? Is there a thing wrong with wanting to be part of the country that you live in? Wanting to stick up for the rights of the people who live in that country. Tell me where the problem is with nationalism. I'd like to know the answer to that, and in a genuine way, not the comparing it to some other guy who happened to be nationalist and also bad. You know what I mean? That's a different thing. So I replied with you were clear. Bad faith is the tool of the sophist. But what a sophist can't stand more than anything is sophistry thrown back at them. I hope one day you'll see that slavery has and always will be a terrible institution. Again with the sophistry, just throwing it back in there. Because that's the funny part about the whole troll experience in this. Anyhow, yeah, so it went on to I just wanted an answer to my question. Your ideology is unclear, sophist or not sophist, my choice. Whatever. I just replied with my ideology is clear. You can see that on my disinformation channel. Right back, full circle. Love how I love to wrap everything in a nice little bow at the end. Nationalism sure beats globalism. See, that's the thing. So at its heart, I'm not a nationalist. I'm an individualist. I like the idea of the individual as an institution. Society should be based around the individual. Everyone has individual rights under the law, and you would have to have, an apparatus. You'd have to have a society where we have rule of law for that to be upheld. And I'm a bottom-up kind of guy. I think at its heart, the individual is the most important thing to protect in a society. And then we can go from there to municipal governments, and then go to provincial governments, and then go to your national governments. So do I want to preserve the nation? Yeah, sure. But it's in my pursuit of preserving the individual, and that's my idea. That is populism. Yeah, right. Now, of course, it's a popular idea. Of course, individualism is a popular idea, and people call it what they want to call it. Call it classical liberalism. Call it libertarianism. Call it conservative, because that's what a lot of people who want to conserve. They want to conserve that idea of the classical liberalism. Liberalism has the term has been molested over the years, as well as other. I mean, even libertarianism, the term has been molested over the years. I don't like labels, and that's why, because the Overton window moves and people in particular movements take over movements, and then you're lumped in with them. I'm not a big fan of that. That's why I like to be an independent, and I like to have my own ideas. Not ideology, my own ideas. It's not about ideology. Ideology is if you want to follow things. I shower with a mask on. What? All right. Good to know. Liberalism. Ain't that a disease covered by Mark Dice? Yeah, okay. So that's it. Like, liberalism is, so classical liberalism is like Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, that stuff. The idea of liberty. It's been bastardized. It definitely has been. So, excuse me. Liberty is not what liberals, like modern day liberals, stand up for. And that's whether it's like in American politics, you have liberal people that claim they're liberals, or progressive goes a little bit further, but it means a different thing. And then you have like the Liberal Party in Canada, and they're just anything but liberty oriented. And that's just a fact. But let's go through. I wanted to clear that up. I don't know what I was looking at there. I'm going to clear that out. Clearing. Oh, yeah. Here's one. This is a Twitter page that I just heard of recently. They sent me a DM saying, "Hey, we should talk." I sent one back. I haven't heard back from them yet, saying, "Yeah, we should talk." Canada Proud is standing up for all working Canadians, and they're essentially just a anti-Trudeau lobby group, but seems like an interesting thing to follow. It's definitely a channel that I've followed just recently, but they definitely have a website here. Let's defeat Justin Trudeau. Canada Proud is a grassroots group of Canadians working to defeat Justin Trudeau. As Prime Minister, Trudeau has repeatedly let our country down. Canada Proud is using the power of social media to hold Trudeau and his Liberals accountable. Millions of Canadians see our content each week. And excuse me, every time I get on the soda stream, I just get the burps. CanadaProud.org is the website. I believe they have a letter you can sign up for. Oh yeah, they have the Join Our Movement. 250,000 supporters spent on $350,000 spent on advertising. Millions reached every week. Apparently, they got a big support on Facebook. I don't really use Facebook. I've only been using it recently just to keep up with some of the other events that are going on, to let you guys know what's happening. But I don't typically spend much time on Facebook. They already know too much about all of us. I don't need to give them any more metadata. But I mean, I try to break it up between the big conglomerates. Who knows? They're probably all talking to each other. But yeah, good source for more information on the fight against the Trudeau government, which I think we're all pretty much involved in at this point. Trudeau funds taxes all people who buy new trucks, $4,000. Yes, undercover. I don't know if you saw my video. I was covering that, and that's, maybe I should get into that a little bit. So the idea of this new law, maybe I should actually talk about that. Yeah, I'll have to go to my channel to grab a link for that. But yes, There's a new law or a new tax that's coming out for vehicles. Let me please pull that up. I think I put the link in the... Yes. There it is. Of course they want your money. They always want your money. The Toronto Sun, Trudeau's planning a new tax on trucks. And this one hits my industry pretty hard because I'm an auto mechanic. And I'll tell you first and foremost, a majority of trucks, like vehicles that fall under this category, a majority of the ones that I work on are small business owners. So, and here's the thing. Unless you're some uber rich person who's buying a new vehicle every X amount of years, you're getting a new vehicle every decade to 2 decades, right? And you're probably not buying a brand new vehicle. The people who are buying brand new vehicles are business owners. The people, and especially people who are buying trucks. Uncle Bubba, welcome. You just did something. Thanks for joining as a member of the channel. Your contributions are very much welcome. Thank you so much. But a majority of these people are business owners. I mean, just think about it for a moment. Who's out there buying brand new stuff? You will lease vehicles and you will be happy. So these taxes will be on leases too, because there is an initial purchase. The government still gets their grubby little fingers in there. That's still a fact. But yeah, so small businesses are the ones that are getting hit the hardest with this one, because most of these people are your plumbers, your electricians, your carpenter contractors, people who are just, you know, with three letter construction companies, you know, sole proprietors. You're not talking about big business here. Big business could eat that up and just write it off on their taxes. Of course, small businesses are going to write it off on their taxes, but it's going to hurt their bottom line in the beginning. And who do they pass that on to? They pass it on to their consumers. So it's inflationary. It sucks. And yeah, this is what's going on here. But the idea behind this is, oh, too many people are buying big vehicles that are using too much gas, and we want to stop that. Well, sorry, but stop making soccer moms not want minivans and instead want SUVs, because minivans are the best thing ever anyway. Popular culture, you need to fix that. SUVs suck for families. But the Trudeau government is planning to hit Canadians with a big new tax on their trucks, sport utility vehicles. So the idea here is that, get out of your video, the proposed tax would cost an extra $1,000 on a Ford F-150. So like that range of vehicle, that size of vehicle, and then up to like a 3,500 heavy duty pickup truck would get the $4,000 tax on it. Now, who's buying these trucks? The Ford F-150 is the most popular truck in Canada, sold to contractors, sold to small businesses. That's what... Smash that like button like it's Trudeau's face. Thanks, Uncle Bubba. Appreciate it. But yeah, the people who are getting hit are, again, business owners. Like, yeah, that's the majority of the people who are buying these big vehicles. I mean, I make fun of people who buy these vehicles who don't need them all the time. But a lot of times, the ones I make fun of tend to be the ones that don't care and they'll write it off anyway. Like the white hats at the construction site. You know, the foreman rolling up in his brand new 3,500 Laramie, fire engine red, jumps out with his white hat, not a speck of dust on his khakis. You know, that's the guy who I laugh at, who owns it, who's never going to use it, who's constantly in for repairs on his DPF system because it's clogged up and it's constantly going into active regen because he never drives it on the highway. It sits there idling while he sits there on his cell phone or jumping out to talk to the guy in the excavator. I've been on enough job sites to know this. Half of you, at least in the audience, knows what the heck I'm talking about right now. But that is... my screen would shatter so hard if I hit it that hard. That's funny. They want everyone to just take trains, buses, while the WEF members travel around in private jets and arrays of Humvees with bodyguards. Yeah. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. The disconnect from these super elite rich people is just absurd. They just don't know the plight of the everyday man, the everyman. You know what I mean? And I'm not being sexist when I say that. Just the the everyday person. But yeah, they're so disconnected from it. But the problem is they don't know what they're doing is going to hurt them in the long run. And that's the sad thing. But they're not going to be the ones suffering. They're just, no one's going to follow. Of course, just like the, I had that clip and it was so funny. Where was that clip? Oh, right here. I'm glad I had that queued up. I'm going to put my headphones on for this. Because this is from the World Economic Forum, when they're just in awe at the fact that people don't like them. They spout all this crap that we know is going to end jobs. It's going to create chaos. It's going to cause poverty. It's going to cause inflation, prices to go up. It's going to cause, and believe me, people in the third world are going to get hit the hardest, the first, like the soonest. And it breaks my heart to hear that, but that's the reality of the situation. And these elites call themselves elites. Sorry, you can't make up your own nickname there, Snake Big Boy Pants. They just don't understand why people don't like them.
The good news is the elite across the world trust each other more and more. So we can come together and design and do beautiful things together.
This guy's not having it.
The bad news is that in every single country they were polling, the majority of people trusted that elite less. So we can lead, but if people aren't following, we're not going to get to where we want to go.
No, you're not going to get to where you want to go because you're not leading. Being a leader is different than what you're doing. And this is the thing. The idea of leadership is a completely different concept than dictatorship. And so like you can say all these platitudes when you get up and give speeches and say nice things. I mean, just like Justin Trudeau, he gets up and he talks about how he doesn't like the idea of authoritarianism, the rise of authoritarianism. It's like, well, then stop doing it. He says he wants more democracy. Well, then be democratic. Start having conversations with people. It's just unacceptable views, Clyde. Thanks. I mean, it's just hard to just get it through their head. You got to get that through your head. Why? I don't understand why they don't want to be led by us. We're leaders. We declared ourselves leaders. Why aren't they following? Like we're not lemmings. Get out of here. Get out of here. It's just absurd. It's just too funny. Snake Big Boy Pants. Exactly. You can't call yourself Snake Big Boy Pants and expect everybody to call you Snake Big Boy Pants. That's not your nickname. Your nickname's not elite. Your nickname is Schwab. Schwabby. Don't get schwabbed. And when everybody says don't get schwabbed, I love lemming. Must have taken classes from Kamala Harris. Yeah. Obviously not laughing lessons. That cackle from Kamala, I just cannot stand it. That is just a difficult one to deal with. But I need to move on. Yeah, the tax on trucks It's a bad idea. It's just a bad idea. And my biggest gripe with the tax on trucks is there isn't an alternative, right? So if you want to say that we're doing this for the environment and this is the idea, because this is lazy governments, lazy leadership always thinks by punishing something, you get people to not do it, right? That's just the laziest way. Give them better incentives. Like as a parent, I don't see the idea of negative reinforcement being a good concept. I don't think that that's going to make for a healthy kid, and I don't think that's going to make for a healthy lifestyle in general. So negative reinforcement is always not a good thing, in my opinion. So like they do it with everything. Oh, it makes cigarettes more expensive and everyone will stop smoking. Well, what happens when they don't? It just makes things more expensive for people who are subject to addiction. That's crappy. That is a really crappy thing to do to people. Oh, a new industry has come around. It's a little bit more healthy. It's not perfectly healthy, but it gets people off cigarettes. It's called vaping. Can't have that because it cuts into our taxes. We can't tax it. Get out of here. It's just Clyde does parenting. Wink. I am a parent. I'm a parent of 2 children, 2 beautiful children, and I have a beautiful wife. And I'm gonna keep that up. But so the idea of negative reinforcement is a thing that lazy governments always try to do. Now, this is negative reinforcement, but what's the alternative? So you can't. Well, vape. I used to be a smoker and I got off it by doing the vape thing. I did the vape. It got me cold turkey after I tried to quit for a long time. But then I quit that, right? So it was a thing that worked for me. It's a cessation device. I'm not advocating for or whatever. I mean, I'm advocating that people give it a go if they can't get off the cigarettes. I'm just saying, just throwing that out there. But that's my 2 cents. I think you shouldn't do that too, though. You shouldn't do that. It's just a good way to get off the cigarettes, in my opinion. So, but here's the thing: if taxing something is a disincentive for you to behave do that thing, what is income tax? Is that a way to get you to stop working? It doesn't work that way. Is that a disincentive for earning a living, or at least on the books? But here's my point. My main point is, what is the alternative? There isn't electric trucks on the road. There aren't show me an electric truck on the market. There isn't one. I know Tesla's been teasing the Cybertruck forever, which a lot of people think is hideous. It's kind of grown on me. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of a funny, goofy looking truck, but whatever. It does the trick. But that's the thing. Where's all my Schwabies? Where are all the Schwabies making electric trucks? You know, they tried killing the electric car until Elon came through with Tesla. I remember following it when the Tesla Roadster first came out, and I was intrigued. I was like, I wonder how this is gonna go, because you're making this high-end car for what market? Smart guy. That was the way to do it. Appease the rich people first, and then get them excited, and then they'll buy your overpriced whatever car, right? But the thing is, there are no electric trucks on the market at the moment. That Cybertruck has all-wheel drive with all electric motors. That thing is just such a torque. Yeah, it sounds like it. Like it's got me stoked. The body style, it kind of reminds me of like a truck version of a DeLorean. But, it's kind of funny. I like that. Arduino Llama, environment is just a new excuse to raise taxes. Yes, of course. It's just another excuse to tax people. But here's the thing. Like I brought up in the last stream, the question of the week was, do we sacrifice the environment to save the climate? Those are different things, right? These are different things. We're actually, with electric cars currently, they have a bigger footprint on the earth as a ecological thing than a regular road car. But the thing is, we've come a long way. I'm a mechanic. I work in this field, right? The biggest issue for everybody is automobiles. And I work in this field, and cars have come a long way, not just in electric, but in gasoline engines, diesel engines. These things are so much more efficient than they used to be. And they're definitely cleaner than they used to be. Like, I know people from Vancouver that tell me stories about coming over the Lionsgate Bridge and not being able to see the other side because of the low-hanging smog. And that smog is low-hanging ozone, which is the result of nitrous oxides in the air and sunlight acting with it and creating this yellow orangey haze, and it stinks. And no joke, like, we'll every once in a while get some old like car from, you know, way back in the day come glug 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 coming into the shop, and everybody always eyeballs it and like, yeah, that's cool, but they stink. And I can always imagine what it was. I don't even remember anymore what it was like back in the day when these cars were on the road, like thousands of them everywhere. But yeah, cars have cleaned up a lot. And there's a lot. The marketplace is doing what it can, and it's doing a great job. But penalizing people that don't go ahead and buy them right away is not a great option. And the idea of taxing people when there's not even an alternative to utility vehicles that you need for work, it's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. Clyde, do you work on hybrids? Yeah, I work on hybrids. Hybrids are great. I mean, depends on the hybrids. I think some of them are just ludicrous. I think they're just, what? Is that a hybrid? Like, for example, what is it? The newest lineup of Dodge, the Dodge and Jeep. They have these ones where they have a 48 volt alternator / starter thing on the belt drive, or the drive belt. And 29 Model A. Thanks for the super sticker. Appreciate that. Cheers. So they have this instead of just an alternator, it's this high voltage alternator, and it's got an extra thick belt, and it works as the starter to do the start stop thing. And sometimes it assists in acceleration on the engine. And then they have this lithium battery pack. On the Jeeps, it's underneath the undercarriage of the vehicle, which is the dumbest idea for something that's supposed to go off-road and be hitting stuff with a lithium battery. And then in the trucks, it's behind the back seat, which is another bad idea because it needs airflow. And what goes back there first? Gym socks and all the stuff that clogs up the back and then overheats these batteries. Now, but that's not I mean, it's technically a hybrid, but they're not hybrid. They're not like a hybrid. They're in the same class as a hybrid, but only technically. And that's just so they could get their whatever couple of cars that are low emissions are classed as hybrids, right? So depending on the vehicle, I think they're great, and other ones I think are just hokey, just dumb ideas. The start-stop thing, yeah, not super keen on that. Prius, I think the Priuses were great. Nickel metal hydride battery technology is pretty crap. That's just my opinion. I think a lot of people would probably back that opinion. But it was what they had at the time, and they pulled it off. And a lot of people, there's a cult following for Priuses. I used to have an Echo, and I drove that around. It's the not hybrid version of the car, and fantastic little car. So good on gas anyway, and then you make it a hybrid, and it was even better. And people love those things. But yeah, there's service issues with them, but you can change cells in the batteries, and they're completely reconditionable. Shimatko, thank you so much for the super sticker. I haven't seen so many super stickers in a stream before. Most people use the super chats because they want to say something, but appreciate that. Vaping is bad, just like cigarettes. Well, the British Heart and Lung Association, I believe it was, said that vaping is 95% safer than cigarettes, which doesn't say a lot because cigarettes are super bad for you. So 95% better than super bad is still bad. So I think as a cessation device to get you off of cigarettes is probably a good bet. It got me off cigarettes and I quit that, and now I'm free of any addictions, except maybe I was able to quit coffee too, pretty easy. So I'm free of addiction, except maybe SodaStream. I'm just loving this SodaStream. Excuse me. 95% better with nothing. Yeah, no, I mean, just having nothing is much better. But those are the facts. Take that at how you want. But I think getting off the old darts is probably the best thing you could ever do, if that's the thing you do. And if you don't do anything, like I don't agree with getting started on any of those things. Smoked for 20 years. Been vaping since 2014. It's all about the quality of the juice. Yeah, like I said, I did vaping for a while. I thought it was great to get off the cigarettes. I'm glad I'm done with it though. I'm glad that I'm finished with it. But I mean, everyone has, excuse me, the choice to do their own thing and what they want to do. But yeah. I like getting on this automotive thing because I'm an automotive technician. So when people have automotive questions for me, I'm very opinionated in the marketplace. But I'm honestly looking forward to more and more electric cars on the market. Like, I'm honestly looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing the second half of the first generation of Teslas, because we currently don't, at my shop, we don't see a lot of Teslas. But what we're seeing now is a lot of them going into secondhand ownership. And this is where we're going to actually see the repairs side of things, right? I anticipate majority of repairs are going to be, your typical suspension, that kind of thing. Brakes don't wear out quite as often on Teslas because of the engine braking. Well, it's not engine braking, motor braking, with the regenerative braking as it turns into a generator to slow the vehicle down. Do you know anything about HHC, homogeneous charge combustion ignition? I don't. I want to look that up though. Unless I'm familiar with it by another name. I know a lot of industry likes to use different terms for certain technologies, like variable valve timing goes by a million different names. Limited slip differential goes by a million different names. Everybody's just trying to coin their own thing. But yeah, that's the thing. So I'm looking forward to the secondhand market, and I wanted to get into this because my opinion of the first gen of Tesla owners is they all think their shit doesn't stink. Pardon my French. Not all of them. Let's not generalize in an all, but many. So I'm on the West Coast, and I know a lot of people, a lot of grass is greener types that have them and think the world of themselves. And, that's the thing. Go for it. Play the piano, Clyde. I keep meaning to set up a webcam and stuff over there. I'd like to do that. But now it's gone into the marketplace where people are secondhand owners, and they're not the type that will only go to the Tesla place to get their stuff fixed and only go to certain garage. A lot of people who own them secondhand now are just like, I don't care. I just want a reputable guy with a good reputation to fix my stuff. And then that's where shops like my independent shop get into working on these things. And I've been doing some research and looking into reconditioning of Tesla batteries and other EV batteries. And I think this is going to be a good industry moving forward. And I'm honestly looking forward to committing to repairing these vehicles. As for like and I'm not knocking him. I love Louis Rosman, but sometimes he goes so much into his rhetoric about right to repair and that stuff, and I think goes a little bit too far in some conversations. I remember he was talking about, I believe it was a Mercedes vehicle where they remove the ability to like open the hood on an EV, and he was criticizing it because of the right to repair thing on that aspect, and like, how dare you like not give people the ability to open up the hood when you could. But what my opinion is that they were actually just trying to avoid a lawsuit, because you have like potentially 600 volts under the hood DC, and you get some goober going in there with a screwdriver, you might end up with a lawsuit. So they just it's not them saying you're not allowed to work on your vehicle. It's them trying to avoid a lawsuit over anything else. That's my opinion. I'm not dogging on Louis Rosman. I like Louis Rosman a lot, and he's definitely in the fight for the long haul on that. I'm gonna look up the homogeneous charge combustion ignition. I'll look into that, because that's not something I'm familiar with. I get sidetracked so easily, everybody. This is a thing that I get into. This is a kind of want to ask you guys what you think. Rebel News is an organization in Canada, and they have a reputation. I like them, but some of the stuff is like Ezra Levant. He gets a bit preachy sometimes for me, and that's fine. I think it's great that anybody who's out there, but them in partnership with True North and Rebel News, there's this new thing, the Democracy Fund Student Journalism Conference, and I was considering signing up for this. What do you guys think? And now this is a thing where it's I'll just read it out to you. Location: Greater Toronto Area, and event manager. Who's the event manager? It doesn't say. The Democracy Fund is inviting young Canadians interested in maybe I'm exempt because I'm not a young Canadian. I don't know. Interested in pursuing career in journalism to attend our student journalism conference May 6th through 8th, 2020. The conference will be held in the Greater Toronto Area, and successful applicants will have their travel expenses covered. The conference is an equal opportunity, non-discriminatory event. Well, don't discriminate against older Canadians. Come on. And students who are unable to fly to Toronto will be accommodated via video link. Maybe I could do that because I have a job and I probably can't get out there to do this. Do it. Yes, you should do it. Okay, I'm getting a lot of that in the chat right now. Successful applicants will participate in a 3-day intensive program and learn the fundamentals of modern journalism, with an emphasis on digital platforms. In addition to journalistic skills, participants will learn about civil liberties challenges facing Canada in 2022. Highlight of the weekend will be a special journalistic assignment that will be graded by a panel of senior journalists with valuable prizes for the winners. Ooh, I wonder if I get anywhere with the senior journalists. Who funds them? Well, this is brought sponsorship or in partnership with True North and Rebel News, independent press Gallery of Canada. So that's that. I heard Ezra Levant, he was on True North, the Candace Malcolm show, and he brought this up in that, and that's what flagged it for me. 18 to 30-year-olds. Is that in there? What does it say? Vacancies open to applicants 18 to 30 years of age. I'm out. I can't do it. So much for not discriminating. Ezra Levant. I was a little late to the punch. Getting into journalism. I took on the mechanics degree before I got into journalism. Here we are, old fart, yeah. I'll push for 40-somethings. I'm not a 40-something yet. I will be in the summer. Oh boy, lordy, look who's gonna be 40. You can identify as 24, Clyde. That's funny. Can't we just identify as anything we want to? Must be proficient in English. I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay there. Applicants can be journalism students, self-employed, or freelance journalists, or working as journalists. Am I a journalist, or am I just a opinion guy? I don't know. What do you think, guys? Let me know. Maybe we should apply anyhow. Maybe we should just throw it in there. Best of luck. Successful applicants will be notified by email. Applicants will have air travel economy class, where you plebs get to hang out with your masks on. Not like in first class. Do they call it first class anymore? They call it business class. Because first class sounded bad, I guess. Yeah. The pleb class. I think it should be called plebeian class. I think we should rename that. Economy class. Nah. We're not economical anymore. We're plebeians. It's happening in Toronto? Yeah, that's the thing. You're a journalist, Clyde. Okay. Oh, nice. Ruthless is in the chat. Thanks for coming in, man. Yes, you were late to the party. Did you get the notification? This is what I'm curious about. Our notifications going out. Leave a comment in the chat real quick for me. How did you know that the stream was going on? Was it on? Did you get a notification? Was it on your YouTube main page? Was it a recommendation? Or did you get it from outside YouTube? Like, because I posted about it in Discord. I witnessed it. Oh, Discord. Main page, no notification. Okay. Notification. YouTube feed. Journalism, Clyde. TV journalists are a misnomer. They just sit around opinionating. I just sit around opinionating, honestly. I mean, I'm scouring things and I'm looking for stuff and I'm developing contacts and trying my best to bring you guys the best picture of what's going on, but I am just pontificating, I guess, giving you my opinion on the stories that I hear, giving my educated guess on what's going on. Notification, nice. Got the notification. Sweet. For those that didn't get the notification, make sure you get that bell rung. Apparently there's like different levels to the bell too, whether you want to get notifications or not. But that's the thing. Elon Musk. Big thumbs ups. I wasn't sure if I got a link from anybody about the board that rejected Musk. I wonder if I find that on Twitter real quick. Go to the Twitter. You find anything on Twitter. And that's what you have to be careful about. Really. Oh my goodness, there. Twitter is a dangerous, dangerous place. Yeah, just watch out. Twitter is not safe for work. That's definitely true. Elon Musk makes a offer to buy Twitter. Search Elon. What have we? I can't share this because you never know. There might be like prawn comes up. Elon Musk has been bumped off the perch by Twitter's largest shareholder. Asset manager Vanguard Group recently upped its stake in the social media platform and now owns 10.3% of the company. Okay, so Vanguard's trying to up it. But that doesn't say. That's from the Wall Street Journal. It's so hard to get a good gauge as well from. Here's the link. Where is that? Unanimous Gamer. Oh, speaking of which, I need to make you a mod. Yeah, let me know where the link is. Oh, or you couldn't give the link because it's in the thing. Maybe the link is in the chat. CNBC. Yeah, I'm not seeing a link here. I'll have to pull it up, I guess. Twitter review investment continue to fuel multi-year transition. No. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Okay, so here's what I know so far. So what Elon Musk did this morning is he essentially launched a hostile takeover of Twitter. And by putting out that he wants to, hey Clyde, I've missed most of the live shows, but I'll watch the recording later. I just wanted to say keep up the good work. Thanks, Scan. Appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you for joining the channel as a member. Appreciate that. The support is greatly appreciated. So thank you so much. Wow, you guys are great. Thank you so much. But yeah, here's the deal. So Elon Musk making his thing. Even Tim Pool while waiting in. Lol. Elon Musk, you're amazing. So yeah, he says to Twitter, you have, or here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna buy it all, and I'm gonna buy it at this big inflated price, which is like what 38% over market value. Now, what that does, which was an interesting thing, and I think what maybe Vanguard was trying to do by jumping to 10 point whatever, that was at the top of the page here. Vanguard. Elon Musk is no longer Twitter's largest shareholder. So the thing is, these companies, they have a fiduciary responsibility, right? If somebody comes in and offers their shareholders a great opportunity, it's their fiduciary responsibility to respond to that, right? It's their shareholders' interest that they're supposed to hold that light. Now, oh, here we go. Thank you so much for that. Let me pop this up. I'll have to get seeking out what? That's really weird. I clicked on the link and it's yep. Oh, is it because I'm running an ad blocker? I can't look at the article. Or I gotta sign in. No, I'm not doing that. Nope. Nuh-uh. Sorry, that one didn't work. yeah, basically, they have a fiduciary responsibility to react to this. Now, here's the thing: Elon said, "I want to buy the whole company, and if I don't get it, well, then I don't have an interest in the company." It doesn't ask me using ad blocker. Yeah, it's really weird. I got an issue. I didn't pop it up on the main page here, but yeah, no, it didn't work for me. Yeah, and asked me to log in with Google. I'm not doing that to view an article. No thanks. But yeah, so they have a fiduciary responsibility to answer to their shareholders. Now, Elon Musk could he could bail out, and what would happen if he bailed out is the stock would drop huge, right? Now, if they had a choice between take it or don't take it, and it's their fiduciary responsibility to take it, make a 38% profit and be out, or not take it and possibly lose like 30% of its value or more from Elon dumping his stock. But I mean, he says this is not a threat, right? In his thing where he posts that out there. We'll endeavor to keep as many shareholders and privatize Twitter as allowed by law. Interesting. So here's the other thing too, right? So you have these other companies like Blackwater or Vanguard, whoever these guys are, and they're not individuals like Elon Musk. They don't have the free will to do what they want with the money that they're in charge of, because they're in charge of assets, right? They're companies in charge of assets, and they have a board, and they have people that are responsible. BlackRock, there you go. They have people that they have to answer to as well. Now, they might be on the hook if Elon offered them to make a quick, huge profit. They would have a fiduciary responsibility on their end to take that offer and give it to their shareholders from their holdings company, right? So you might run into legal trouble where if they don't take the offer, there might be legal repercussions to that, because it's a guaranteed, here you go, you're making a profit. He just wants the company, get out. Now, the elite will not allow him to gain this company. But that's the beauty of this whole ploy, right? So if they don't allow him to have the company, if they're like, "Nuh-uh, you're not having it," it shows their hand. It allows people to publicly see that this is not what they show it to be. There is the facade of free speech, the facade of the idea. The veil gets lifted. You know what I mean? And I mean, it's slowly being lifted for so many people, but it's just every time there's a new thing. Oh, mods, take care of that one. It shouldn't be in a chat. But yeah, so there's these new things that just keep, you know, as they keep saying, the blue pill, the red pill, it keeps red pilling people so that they see what's actually going on. So we'll see. This is going to be an interesting one, because it was at the Lotus Eaters, one of the guys from the Lotus Eaters, that crunched the numbers, and the amount that Elon would have to spend as an individual. This is an individual man, not a conglomerate company like Vanguard or BlackRock. It's not the World Economic Forum and a bunch of people. It's one guy that crunched the numbers, and just to get you an idea of what kind of money he's spending. And it's basically his offer to buy Twitter outright for $43 billion is the equivalent of your average American person spending about 14 grand on something. I mean, that's less than an ATV, People buy dirt bikes for more than that. You know what I mean? So like, this is not a huge thing. It's not a huge thing for Elon to put on his big boy pants and try this and do a hostile takeover of Twitter. Honestly, I hope he's successful. There are people out there that say he doesn't have our best intentions in mind. That could be the case. That could be the case, but I'll take my chances, rooting for this guy, honestly, because I think his intentions are in the right place. I believe so. Could be wrong on that. Could totally be wrong on that. But the thing is, like, I'm a fan. I'm not a fanboy. You get what I mean? There's a difference. There's a difference between being a fan of something or someone and being a fanboy. I'm not going to defend him if he does something wrong. That's not my purview. I'm all for rooting for him because I think he's doing the right thing. If he does the wrong thing, well, I mean, he's going to get criticized from this guy. That's for sure. As far as best intention goes, he's doing better than JT. Wow. I don't think JT has our best intentions in mind. That's for sure. Richard, thank you so much. Thanks, Clyde. Keep it up. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, is there much else to comment on that? I mean, I think it's just funny. I think it's really funny. It's gonna be a big meme. It's gonna be such a big meme. I'm gonna be following this one closely. I mean, like I said, I'm a fan of Elon. I've been for a long time. I thought some of the stuff he did was a pipe dream and dumb. You know, like his evacuated tube idea, not good, and it was a failure. And I mean, but that's the thing. He at least has the wherewithal to give it a go with things, you know? So a lot of people had the evacuated tube idea. A lot of engineers were like, it's not going to work. But a lot of people were hyped up on it. I remember the evacuated tube videos going around the internet, and everybody was super hyped on it. He did like a quarter mile in LA, I believe it was, and it was a flop, and it couldn't hold vacuum, and it just didn't work. So I don't like Elon, but I like this move by him because he creates tons of funny memes. Yeah, he does. So personally, like, I like Elon. I like the idea that he wants to do greater things. You know what I mean? He's got the idea of like, let's go to space and let's make rockets that land themselves, and then allocating resources accordingly. I mean, we all do things with our free money as hobbies, and I think I respect what he does with his. I think that's pretty cool. And if he did it all in the free market, then good on him. You know what I mean? Good on him. Get out there and give her. You know, just get out there and give her. You're deadly. But that's the thing. When governments waste money like this, I gripe about it because that's tax dollars. Forget that. No, if you've earned it, go, you know, like, what are all the other billionaires doing with their money, right? Like, yeah, eccentric. That's probably the word for it. Need a Canadian Elon. That would be great. My favorite tweet of the day was Elon, my favorite African American. Oh, I like that. Technically, that's accurate. But that is a thing. Yeah. If you didn't know, Elon Musk originally from South Africa. But yeah, that's that story. I love that. I can't wait to see how it develops. But yeah, that's the thing. Where was I going to go from here? I wanted to talk a little bit about Pierre Poilievre. Pierre Poilievre is there's a little bit of division on it, but there's a little bit of like people coming together on this idea and this person, right? So Pierre Poilievre is a guy who is running for the leader of the Conservative Party in Canada. And so a lot of people are fed up with the Conservative Party, and that's what gave rise to the PPC. And I think on the Liberal side, it was kind of like that's what gave rise to the NDP. But the PPC, it says Canada Derp already has the market cornered in manliness from AVE. Oh man, yeah, AVE, what a dude. Honestly, that's what got me started on the whole trucker convoy thing, was when AVE cut up that toonie with a truck on it. Honestly, I was like, okay, well, I got to chime in too. And big shout out to AVE channel. Did you look into Elon's grandpa there in BC? No, I didn't. See, you took note on that one in the stream. Oh yeah, that's see, these are the things that I get sidetracked with. Anyway, somebody remind me of Elon's grandpa in BC. That's interesting. But yes, I wanted to get into Pierre Poilievre and a bit about the Conservative Party. So Canada's got a bit of this cyclical sort of political environment, right? So Canadians, they have a conservative leader, and they get fed up with that conservative leader, so they vote for the Liberals, and then they get fed up with that guy, and then they vote for the Conservatives, and it kind of keeps going around in this circle where you're always voting to get the other party out, and that's really a sad state of affairs. But this Pierre Poilievre is the first time people are actually excited that I've seen for a political candidate. Like, so for people who were voting against Trudeau in the last elections, I mean, who did we have? You know what I mean? As an alternative, it was almost as if they wanted the Liberals to win, with Andrew Scheer. Not good. And then O'Toole, he wouldn't have done very well against Trudeau as well. And this is what gave rise to the PPC and why a lot of people are just fed up. And the thing is, you're stuck with voting for this party or this party. And the Liberals are just out to lunch. They're out to lunch. Some people have voted for the NDP. I don't personally agree with anything on their platform, so that's not something I would be supportive of. I'm seeing, so there's a lot of split. Even, within the audience here, right? So there's a lot of people that are all for Poilievre. There's a lot of people don't support him. People support the PPC. So this Pierre is WEF thing, I've looked into that, and I can't find anything. His profile was scrubbed, but there is evidence that he was in there in 2001, found it on a Wayback Machine. Yeah, I'd like to see that. I would like to see that. But as it stands, I've seen him ask the question a few times now, and not just being asked, but unsolicited, criticizing other people in government for supporting or being part of the World Economic Forum. So yeah, there's people saying that he used to be, but he says that he isn't. But that's kind of what I've seen so far. But this is the first time that I've seen in, as far as I remember, people actually getting stoked about a political candidate. especially on the right side of the aisle. Now, I'm not far right by any means at all. I tend to lean more on the side of liberty when it comes to everything, and I find the left side of the aisle is very not liberty oriented when it comes to your money. So I always I tend to, my vote tends to go to, conservative or PPC type parties, because they'll stick up for your wallet more than the left side usually does. But the thing is, I wouldn't always vote for conservative, especially when they don't seem to be standing for values. But that's the thing. Like, this is the idea: is everybody votes for the way they want to vote. And what's coming up in the next future election, which we don't know when is going to be happening. Don Cherry for PM. I like that idea. Left and right both suck. The government needs to leave me alone so I can do my thing. And this is why I end up voting with the right side of the aisle, because they're the ones usually promising to leave you alone compared to the left. And that's in recent history. I mean, back when I was in the 90s, it was always the right that was in your business and wanting to change personal aspects of your life. But yeah, the Overton window has changed. The zeitgeist has changed. But there is a lot of pull around Pierre Poilievre right now, because he's saying all the right things. And that's the thing. So, and this is why the establishment is afraid of him. And when the establishment doesn't like somebody, that makes me think you're looking at the right guy for the job. You know what I mean? And I'm not telling people who to vote for. I want to have this conversation, because they seem to be struggling by pulling out Charest. Yeah. Jean Charest. I see Charest when I read it. I just see Charest, and it just makes me laugh. Sorry for anyone who's got French names out there. But yeah, Red Tory. So Jean Charest, for anyone who's from Quebec, and I get a lot of comments every time I bring him up in my videos from people from Quebec, that say he did a number on their province and he's not a good character. And what did I tweet about him recently? I said something along the lines of, Jean Charest can't decide if he's a liberal or a closet liberal. He's definitely a liberal. But is he just going to be out front about it, or is he going to hide it? That's really what we're asking at this point. But the thing that's, you can listen to what Pierre Poilievre has to say, or you can listen to other candidates and what they have to say. What really speaks the truth is what the opposition says about them. If the opposition is going to full on come out and blast them, it means they're doing something right. And it's like I was saying earlier, they really come after you, and you know that you're right over the target when they come hard at you. And pulling some decrepit old this guy, where is he? Sorry. That guy, this decrepit old thing out of the crypt of the Liberal Party, who has maybe some connection to to possibly being part of the he was part of the Progressive Conservatives back in the day before it split, right? Definitely more of the progressive than the conservative. Mind you, this is the guy that helped bring in the long gun registry and all the things that are not popular with conservatives and not popular with liberty-oriented people as a whole. This is Jean Charest. Now, but they had to pull him out of the crypt to come in to go up against, and yes, he is part of the World Economic Forum. He has a profile there. and he's still on there. And he was a lobbyist for Huawei, the Chinese company. I mean, might as well be the CCP, because everything, when you're in communism, everything is owned by the state at its most fundamental level. But engages in, because the charge was that Polyev, because he was supportive of the convoy, was breaking laws. And I mean, Huawei breaks intellectual property laws and privacy laws on the regular. So I mean, here's where we are. But okay, so here's my big question, and this is the one that one thing to add. So Tokyo Rosie, awesome Twitter handle, awesome Twitter person I follow. Anybody who thinks John Charest is going to stick around the Conservative Party after he loses is dreaming. He's going to cause maximum damage to the party during the leadership campaign and then disappear back into the liberal fold. And that's true. And he's just going to become some other lobbyist for another communist company and sell everybody else out. That's essentially my thoughts of this old crypt keeper and what he does. And he's just part of the permanent bureaucracy of that. Again, like Trump would call it, the swamp. We got to drain it. We got to get rid of these characters. He should stay in retirement. Yeah, these characters never retire. They're always somewhere permanent fixtures of the bureaucracy, and just what is wrong at the deepest core of our company or our country, what people call the deep state, or what people call the swamp, or whatever you want to call it. It's this nepotistic, just garbage place that is they're just there to line their own pockets, and they're leeches. They're leeches on all of us. And the sooner more people eyes open up to this whole concept, the better, because this is all these people do. If you're a career, okay, what person goes in? If you were to bring this up to somebody 80 years ago and tell them, yeah, so here's the deal: people get into government, they become public servants, and next thing you know, they're millionaires. Like, no, that's corrupt. Arrest those people. That's what would have been thought of. But now it's just normal. Yeah, there you go. Tapeworms. I think that's a little bit better. Leech just sounds a little bit too almost independent, like they could actually swim up and do something. No, tapeworms are just this slobbery mess of parasitic entity. This is getting graphic fast. Boy, I used to love 22 minutes, but not after the protest. They lost me ages ago. Unfortunately. Just seems also one-sided. But everybody's been waking up to this slowly. Hopefully, hopefully it doesn't take too long for all of Canada to wake up for it. But that's the thing. Like we saw during the convoy, that a lot of people support this. Just a lot of people are timid, and they're afraid to come out and speak about how they actually feel. And you saw it during the convoy, and then that got shut down because people were afraid of their bank accounts being frozen. And then you saw it now you're seeing it during these town halls with Pierre Polyev. I mean, he's pulling audiences. He's pulling quite the audiences. I heard, was it on the, I think it was on Rebel News today. They were talking about, or was it True North? I can't remember. But up to 7,000 people showing up earlier. Was it today or yesterday at one event? Like that's big. Like for Canada, we're talking about Canada. This is in the U.S., right? Like these are almost Trump rally size events. No wonder they're concerned about populism. And this is why they're going after populism as a bad thing. And it's not a bad thing. Populism is a good thing. It's only ever a bad thing when the target is other individuals. The target here, or like targeting groups or things like that. I mean, that's when things are bad. But when the target is just getting freedom and lifting red tape, as Pierre has been saying. Now you got to take everything with a grain of salt, because I mean, if you look at Pierre's platform, it's take back control of your life. If you look at any politician's platform, it's going to be all kinds of platitudes that probably any Canadian can associate with. I mean, you listen to Justin Trudeau and his platitudes about democracy and how he wants to have a democratic society and world and all that stuff, but then definitely goes against that. I believe, what was it? Before all the before the mandates, he said, Justin Trudeau said, we're not a nation that mandates vaccines. How well did that go? How well did that go? I don't trust him, but he's better than our current supreme leader. Well, and that's a scary thing, because I don't want to necessarily vote for someone who's just better than, you know. I want to vote for someone who's actually gonna do the things that they say they're gonna do. Like, these are all good things. More Canadian paychecks. We need to unleash the fierce power of the Canadian workforce and bring our economy roaring back. Well, I mean, the Liberals say that they're going to do that too. Like, in all honesty, they say they're going to do that too. I tend not to believe the Liberals, but that's just me, right? Reclaim Canadian values. It's time to restore dignity and honor back to the Canadian people and let their lives. This is a big thing for me, because I'm really not keen on the culture war and this idea of bringing critical race theory into schools, teaching kids, like little kids, about sex and stuff. I mean, it's fine. Like, classical sex education is fine, but like talking about proclivities and that kind of thing to kindergartners is no. No, we're not going there. You only have so many choices, Clyde. No. And that's what's really sad about that situation there. Stop just inflation, so another coin phrase. Inflation with Justin in front of it. Haha, clever. Anyway, things like that are things that people remember, and that's why they use terms like that. Fire the gatekeepers. Now, this is one that really reigns true for me. Business has such a hard time, and especially at the municipal level. I don't know what the federal government is going to do about municipal level stuff, but yeah, getting permits for stuff is like the worst if you're trying to build anything. It's terrible. It's terrible. Yeah, defunding the CBC is a great platform. That's a thing. PPC Max quit the Conservatives over them wanting to mandate joining a UN policy. Oh, okay. Now, honestly, I am a fan of the idea of the PPC party. What I'm not a fan of is the idea that every time we come to an election time, we have to vote for this guy because that guy's so bad that we all have to join forces to get rid of that guy. I mean, that's what I remember being the case in 2015, when I saw all over my Facebook posts, or all over my Facebook feed, everybody's trying to get rid of Harper, and they all were opposed to Harper. I wasn't opposed to Harper. That wasn't my position at the time. I knew Trudeau and the Liberals were not going to be good. But that was the that was the feeling at the time, and that's what everybody was pushing out there. We need to get rid of Harper. Now, I think it was a dumb idea to be so hard-nosed about the pot legalization thing, especially in British Columbia, because I mean it's an industry out here, and that was just an unpopular idea. The Conservatives really shot themselves in the foot on that one, and I feel like that was like a big contributing thing to Trudeau getting into office at that time. But that's the problem with the political landscape here, is people are just trying to get rid of the guy that they don't like. Honestly, Harper could have stepped down and they would have won so many more votes. And that's just my opinion on that. I think they would have, because people were just after Harper, and it wasn't really after the Conservatives. It was just after Harper. And I think a lot of that hysteria wouldn't have taken place if it weren't for that in particular. But my dude, weed was a Trojan horse. It was. Because I mean, I got no dog in this fight because I don't smoke weed. It's just not an interest to me. I don't like it. I have nothing against it. I think it should be legal, in my opinion, because I don't think people should be getting in trouble for something so innocuous. It's not even a big deal. But at the same time, it should be treated like, alcohol or whatever. You shouldn't be able to drive after having some. But that's my opinion, right? And everybody's entitled to their own opinion about it. I just don't think it's a big deal. And I read Harper's book. He condemns populism. Yeah, I don't get that. That's true, Clyde. We need to vote opposition, not conservatives. They failed. But that's the thing, right? So conservatives failed. Now there's the idea of changing the party within. That's another concept as well. So there's do we start a new party, or do we reform the old party? Because getting all the 420s in the chat now. Yeah, if you're 420, that's your thing, and I support you with it. Just don't. I'm just not my gig, right? See, that's the thing. A lot of people supported Harper. A lot of people didn't like Harper for whatever reasons, but he did bring us balanced books, which I just read in the Noodles said that. Yeah, he knew how to balance the books. Trudeau, I mean, my personal opinion of Trudeau just spending like crazy is he's doing it on purpose. I think he's just trying to destroy the economy. I honestly think that's my take on that. I mean, there's no other reason why you would spend like that. There's no other reason. He's honestly trying to destroy it. And it's just like the culture war. Okay, this gets me into what I want. One thing I wanted to talk about. The culture war. Get into that just after this. I just wanted to say, even if you support Pierre Poilievre, the question, though, is the Conservative Party has just been the most neutered of oppositions. So in order to get him in, you have to vote for your member in your riding from the Conservative Party so that he can get in as the leadership. For Americans that are watching this, trying to figure out how the parliamentary system works, we don't vote on the Prime Minister. We vote for our members of parliament, and then the majority party, or the party that has the most seats, has their leader be the prime minister. So it's not the same. So you have to vote for your riding. Now, in my riding, do I want to vote for the conservative guy just to get Pierre Poilievre in, or do I want to vote PPC because I prefer that party for my local riding? I mean, these are the questions we need to ask ourselves. And if that's the case, well, shouldn't we be a little bit more active if the idea is to get Pierre in? if say that's your prerogative, and I'm not saying that it's my prerogative at the moment, or I mean, I'm toying with the idea. But the thing is, does that mean we have to invest ourselves in the party? Do we have to invest ourselves in making sure that your local representative is going to be the representative that you want for your riding? And that I think that's a really important aspect that gets overlooked way too much. And I think a lot of people need to consider that as well. So just throwing that one out there. But I wanted to get into the culture war thing, and that gets me back to, and maybe you know this name. His name is Yuri Bezmenov, and these are interviews from back in the 1980s. In particular, the one that I want to look at is an interview from 1985, and Mr. Yuri Bezmenov, who went on speaking tours, and he awesome speeches talking specifically about and seemingly what's happening exactly today. And he was a KGB defector from the Soviet era. So, and he was, he explains manipulation of the US public opinion and how espionage is not quite the Hollywood romantic idea of what spies do and what espionage is, and that it's in fact a different type of scenario. But let's get into this, because I wanted to show this to you guys just in case. Type in the chat if you ever heard of this or what I'm talking about here. But this is so Soviet era, and the reason why this is so important is because he gets into it in the interview, but that the this infiltration that the Soviets did in North America was to sow the seed to inevitably be what is happening in our culture today. And yes, you've seen this one. Okay. I think everyone needs to see this, because if you understand it from this perspective, it is just incredible to know that this is all, it's not spontaneous, and it's not weird that it's happening. It's weird what they're doing, so that these people trying to make up all this gobbledygook about 1,000 different genders and all that stuff. It's designed to break up the nuclear family. It's designed to subvert the society, and it had a purpose, and the idea is there. And well, let's just get into what he has to say. I'll cut in and out.
Several times before about ideological subversion. Well, you spoke several times before about ideological subversion. That is a phrase that I'm afraid some Americans don't fully understand. When the Soviets use the phrase ideological subversion, what do they mean by it?
Ideological subversion is the process which is legitimate, overt, and open. You can see it with your own eyes. All you have to do, all American mass media has to do, is to unplug their bananas from their ears, open up their eyes, and they can see it. There is no mystery. There is nothing to do with espionage. I know that espionage intelligence gathering looks more romantic. It sells more deodorants through the advertising, probably. That's why your Hollywood producers are so crazy about James Bond type of thrillers. But in reality, the main emphasis of the KGB is not in the area of intelligence at all. According to my opinion and opinion of many defectors of my caliber, only about 15% of time, money, and manpower is spent on espionage as such. The other 85% is a slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism.
Well, and this is why people say, oh, well, what's the big deal? It's just in the universities. It'll never get out into the broader culture. Are you kidding me? It starts in the universities. This is the idea. This is how they weaponize it. They put it out there, and like you said, feed it into the soft heads of the younger generations, and then that's what sows the seed. So demoralization. I mean, what is demoralization? What is the idea of slandering somebody, calling them nationalistic? I mean, nationalism used to be, I mean, why do we have Olympics if nationalism is a bad thing? The whole nationalism has always been celebrated. People have been proud of the country that they come from. They want to celebrate things that their countrymen together can do, accomplishments, whatever. All these celebrations are looked down on. This is all part of that demoralization. The idea that you can tell people, say nationalism as a derogative. Well, how is that a derogative? Is it bad to be proud to be Canadian? Is it bad to be proud to be a part of this nation? That's nationalism. What else are we defining it as? You know what I mean? So let's get more into this.
The result you can see. Most of the people who graduated in the 60s, dropouts or half-baked intellectuals, are now occupying the positions of power in the government, civil service, business, mass media, educational system. You are stuck with them. You cannot get rid of them. They are contaminated. They are programmed to think and react to certain stimuli in a certain pattern. You cannot change their mind, even if you expose them to authentic information, even if you prove that white is white and black is black, you still cannot change the basic perception and the logic of behavior. In other words, these people, the process of demoralization is complete and irreversible. To get rid society of these people, you need another 20 or 15 years to educate a new generation of patriotically minded and common sense people who would be acting in favor and in the interests of United States society.
And yet these people who've been programmed and, as you say, in place and
Yes.
who are favorable to an opening with the Soviet concept, these are the very people who would be marked for extermination in this country?
Most of them, yes.
Whoa, see, we're getting pretty deep already. Now, it in the 1980s, it sounded so crazy. This sounded so crazy that there would be a whole swath of people that have been radicalized and to hate their own nation and be against it completely. Clyde, watch The Century of the Self. I have seen The Century of the Self, the BBC documentary. Yeah, it's a really, really good one. You get to learn a lot about Freud's nephew, Edward Bernays, in that one. Interesting story about the Betty Crocker. Anyone who hasn't seen that, go watch it. It's called The Century of the Self, a BBC documentary. But yeah, this sounds so outlandish at the time in 1985. But here we are today, and we got people losing their mind at the idea that their worldview can be challenged, and it's violence to challenge their worldview as they spout out absolute gobbledygook about whatever expression they're making or what have you. It's just made up nonsense. And the thing is, when this is all done, those people are expendable and nobody's going to care about them. And I feel so bad for people that get caught up in all this ideological junk. It's terrible. But the revolutionaries are always the ones who are the expendables, and that's something that needs to be understood. Wow, Ken, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate it. Get yourself a case of your favorite bottle for after the show. Have a great Easter weekend. Thank you so much, Ken. Appreciate that. That's so good. I will. I'm not just going to get myself a bottle. I'm going to get me and the wife a bottle. And then maybe some sodas for the kids. They love soda. But they can't have too much. Soda Stream is the best for them. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. But yeah, getting back to this, the revolutionaries are the ones that are the expendable ones. And you see that through every revolutionary in this revolution in history. And I don't know why these revolutionaries don't get that. The first ones to go are the ones that led the revolution, because they're the ones who are capable of pulling it off. If once the new power takes hold, you think they want people who are capable of perpetrating a revolution hanging around? No. And this is where Yuri gets into this.
Simply because the psychological shock when they will see in future what the beautiful society of equality and social justice means in practice, obviously they will revolt. They will be very unhappy, frustrated people, and the Marxist-Leninist regime does not tolerate these people. They will join the links of dissenters, dissidents. Unlike in present.
It reminds me of that meme of people saying, "We want more government," and the police, riot police, are like, it's like protesters and riot police. It says wants more government. The riot police is more government, right? It's the whole government harder daddy thing, and it's unbelievable what these people are advocating for in these colleges and universities. But this is breaking out into the rest of society, right? That's why Pat King and Tamara Lich were put in jail. Yes, because they were the ones that were standing out of the crowd and giving people hope. Of course they need to make an example. I mean, they'll be martyrs to the Freedom Convoy, but they'll be an example for everybody else. That's the idea, right? And this is why we have people fighting so hard to get those people out, to get Pat King out, to get Tamara Lich out, and hopefully back on social media. That's especially the reason why such harsh restrictions in the bail hearing for Tamara Lich. Even though she's out on bail, she's not even allowed to use social media. And they're fighting this legally now because it goes against charter rights. There's no state of emergency at the moment, but they still don't want her to be able to use social media because she has influence, and they don't want that. They want all the influence. This is why they're going after all social media as a whole. They want to. It's the thing. Social media, all of this is it's the new printing press, right? When the printing press came out in the 15th century, the Vatican, the church, they were the ones who controlled it all. They, the word of God was their own. They could tell you what the word of God was, and it was only in Latin, and only the priests spoke Latin, so they were the ones to translate it for you. And the printing press came out, and it was a revolutionary concept, and it was a revolutionary device that brought the word of God to the masses, and they were able to get it for themselves in their own languages. And it was revolutionary. And that genie will never be put back in the bottle, right? And that was the idea of the internet. And for a lot of us, we started off on the internet as just like dorks and nerds and playing Red Alert on 56K dial-up. That was me. It was me in the 90s on an old machine. But that, and it was just chat rooms and forums and stuff. And the internet, people got made fun of for a long time. ICQ, I was on it. And it all changed when the masses started using the internet. It became available to everybody. It's on your phone. It's in your pocket. We all have access to all the information, and we have access to speaking to people across the world and getting in touch with people and sharing ideas. Well, that genie's never coming back in the bottle, and they're trying. And this is the time that they're trying to put that back in the bottle, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But there is a fight involved because they're going to try. They're definitely going to try because they had a monopoly on the media for a long time. You know, when we thought Walter Cronkite and these guys were telling us all the truth, and they were being just, journalists, we didn't know. We had no idea that they were just pumping us full of garbage and telling us that things are happening across the world that may or may not have been. That's the thing. But here we are now where we know better. And there's a lot of people that still don't know better because they still follow it. But more eyes are being opened all the time. All the time, new eyes are being opened. The Freedom Convoy in Canada was one of the biggest events to open so many new eyes because they saw what was happening and then they saw what was being reported, and the absolute difference between the two things. They were witnessing the event and they were seeing what they were being told. Now that brought into question everything they've ever been told, and that's what's happening, and that's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to turn that around. Not Walter too. Yeah, I know. I'm not sure Walter Cronkite was on. I think he was good. It was Dan Rather that ended up being really bad at the end, involved in almost like pretty much propaganda pieces. My bad. But yeah, let's get back into this.
United States, there will be no place for dissent in future Marxist-Leninist America. Here you can get popular like Daniel Ellsberg and filthy rich like Jane Fonda for being dissident, for criticizing your Pentagon. In future, these people will be simply squashed like cockroaches. Nobody is going to pay them nothing for their beautiful, noble ideas of equality. This they don't understand, and it will be greatest shock for them, of course. The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. For the last 25 years, actually it's overfulfilled, because demoralization now reaches such areas where previously not even Comrade Andropov and all his experts would even dream of such a tremendous success. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom.
How many people do you know, chat? How many people in your life do you know that he's describing right now? That they're just so detached from reality that and they're so propagandized that you tell them, you show them, you say, here's proof. Here's a live stream of what was going on at the Freedom Convoy. You can't doctor this. You can't fake it. You can't make it up. Here's video game footage that a news organization said was a real life event. You know? And in the face of evidence, they become more steadfast in their conviction. It's just mind-blowing. It's just 80% of people around me, sadly. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But you can't stop, though. You just got to keep trying. Because at some point, something will break. Something will break through. And that's my goal. Just keep trying. Keep going. Keep going. Because I've known people that were steadfast, but I don't get annoying to people. I mean, it may be annoying to people that I'm on YouTube and stuff, but you can tune me out if you want. But whenever I get an opportunity to prove something to somebody or show something, sometimes you can break through. You can get through to them. But like Yuri saying here, this is by design. This is a good system. And it's been put in place since the 70s.
Military boot crashes his, then he will understand, but not before that. That's the tragic of the situation of demoralization. So basically America is stuck with demoralization, and unless, even if you start right now, here, this minute, you start educating new generation of Americans, it will still take you 15 to 20 years to turn the tide of ideological perception of reality back to normalcy and patriotism. The next stage is destabilization. This time, subverter does not care about your ideas and the patterns of your consumption. Whether you eat junk food and get fat and flabby, it doesn't matter anymore. This time, and it takes only from 2 to 5 years to destabilize a nation, what matters is essentials: economy, foreign relations, defense systems. And you can see it quite clearly that in some areas, in such sensitive areas as defense and economy, the influence of Marxist-Leninist ideas in the United States is absolutely fantastic. I could never believe it 14 years ago when I landed in this part of the world that the process will go that fast. The next stage, of course, is crisis. It may take only up to 6 weeks to...
Okay, so that, yeah. I saw in the comments the conditioning using the masks. I agree with that. That's a form of conditioning. To get people afraid of seeing other people's faces is a tragic thing to do to an entire generation. And that's why with my kids, I wasn't for that. My kids hated the masks. No way. Don't want to wear masks. We didn't make them wear masks around other kids. You know, we didn't put up any fuss when it came to going into stores and stuff. So at the end of the day, I believe in people's you know, property, right? So if somebody owns a business and says, yeah, Yuri Bezmenov, if somebody owns their own business and they say, well, the rule is we have to have masks in here, I'm not gonna put up a fight. I mean, that's not the hill I want to die on. I might not go in if I don't have a mask. Whatever. Okay, I'll go to another business that doesn't want to have it. But that wasn't a hill that I was about to die on. When it's a mandate by government, I'm not keen on that. Yeah, exactly. No biz for me. So I mean, there was, and I had my QR code, but if a restaurant asked for it, I just wouldn't eat there. That was just my stand on that, you know. So that's the thing. Yuri's amazing story. Yeah, absolutely. We're going over this, but yeah. So what level were you at? Let's just continue with this.
To bring a country to the verge of crisis. You can see it in Central America now. And after crisis, with a violent change of power, structure, and economy, you have so-called the period of normalization. It may last indefinitely. Normalization is a cynical expression borrowed from Soviet propaganda. When the Soviet tanks moved into Czechoslovakia in '68, Comrade Brezhnev said, "Now the situation in brotherly Czechoslovakia is normalized." This is what will happen in the United States if you allow all these schmucks to bring the country to crisis, to promise people...
Well, yeah, here's the crisis, right? So the crisis was COVID. The crisis is, well, it hasn't been the economic situation yet. But the crisis was COVID. And then we get normalized. Well, what was the crisis before that? Crisis before that was terrorism. And what did we get? We got the TSA and we got security apparatus. And it became this whole security theater. And how many terrorist plots did they thwart? Like none. But we all, again, normalized. The situation became normalized. And it became normalized in our lives that, oh yeah, well, I know it's for our safety. This is why we do it. Yeah, it's for our safety. So, you know, you got to take your shoes off at the airport for your safety. You got to do all this stuff, jump through the hoops, and the Patriot Act for your safety. And then it's the pandemic for your safety. But it's just for grandma. You know? I heard someone saying this is the first time in history where an older generation asked the younger generation to sacrifice for them. That was a whole other concept that came up, and I was like, wow, that's profound. Because normally it's you do all you can for the next generation, and this is the first time that the young generation has to sacrifice almost seemingly indefinitely for grandma, you know? And we love you, grandma, but, you know, we're not risking all of our businesses for this. Normalization. They officially use the word crisis upon referring to the climate crisis. Yeah, of course. It's another crisis. They're going to have more crises. Now, the thing is, yeah, the ongoing crisis is racism. Yeah, there are racist people out there, but not the ones that are being told that there are. It's that one's all flipped on its head. That one's interesting. But yeah, the new climate crisis. That's the thing. Like, again, I want a clean environment, but they're not. They're saying climate and environment, and those things are being construed. And yeah, it's another crisis.
All kind of goodies and the paradise on earth to destabilize your economy, to eliminate the principle of free market competition, and to put a big brother government in Washington, D.C., with benevolent dictators like Walter Mondale, who will promise lots of things, never mind whether the promises are fulfillable or not. He will go to Moscow to kiss the bottoms of new generation of Soviet assassins, never mind. He will create false illusions that the situation is under control. Situation is not under control. Situation is disgustingly out of control. Most of the American politicians, media, and educational system trains another generation of people who think they are living at a peacetime. False. United States is in the state of war, undeclared total war against the basic principles and the foundations of this system. And the initiator of this war is not Comrade Andropov, of course. It's the system. However ridiculous it may sound, the world communist system or the world communist conspiracy, whether I scare some people or not, I don't give a hoot. If you are not scared by now, nothing can scare you. But you don't have to be paranoid about it. What actually happens now, that unlike myself, you have literally several years to live on unless the United States wake up. The time bomb is ticking. With every second, the disaster is coming closer and closer. Unlike myself, you will have
This
nowhere
camera
to
operator really
defect
knows what
to,
he's doing.
unless you want to live in Antarctica with penguins. This is it. This is the last country of freedom and possibility.
Okay, so what do we do? What is your recommendation to the American people?
Well, the immediate thing that comes to my mind is, of course, there must be a very strong national effort to educate people in the spirit of real patriotism, number one. Number two, to explain them the real danger of socialist, communist, whatever, welfare state, big brother government. If people will fail to grasp the impending danger.
This is an absolute failure at the moment. I mean, people are advocating for the ultimate welfare state with UBI. Universal basic income is like, honestly, so many people of the younger generation think that it's a great idea. They're all on board with it. Well, I mean, not all on board, but I mean, there's a lot of people on board with it. UBI, universal basic income. This is where do you get where? We went over this. We went over this in a live stream. I'm not. Okay, yeah, Chris is Ruthless is younger generation. He's not on it. But yeah, we're here now. That's right. You are here. I think these Yuri Bezmenov videos need to be just titled "You Are Here." You need that "You Are Here" sticker from the mall, the mall map. This is incredible.
Of that development. Nothing ever can help United States. You may kiss goodbye to your freedom, including freedoms to homosexuals, to prison inmate. All this freedom will vanish, evaporate in 5 seconds, including your precious lives.
Yeah, that's the thing. So all these people from the alphabet groups that think that what they're fighting for is going to bring about this utopia of everybody gets to do all these weird sexual proclivities that they want to do. And what they're ushering in is an authoritarian state that wants none of that. That's none of it. None of it. I mean, it all just doesn't make sense anyway. It's unbelievable. But yeah, no, they're just useful idiots is what they are, and they're ushering in this concept. It's terrifying.
The second thing, the moment at least part of the United States population is convinced
none of it. Yeah,
that the danger is real, they have to force their government. And I'm not talking about sending letters, signing petitions, and all this beautiful, noble activity. I'm talking about forcing United States government to stop aiding communism. Because there is no other problem more burning and urgent than to stop the Soviet military-industrial complex from destroying whatever is left of the free world. And it is very easy to do. No credits, no technology, no money, no political or diplomatic recognition, and of course no such idiocy as grain deals to USSR. The Soviet people, 270 millions of Soviets, will be eternally thankful to you if you stop aiding a bunch of murderers who sit now in Kremlin and whom President Reagan respectfully calls government. They do not govern anything, least of all such complexity as the Soviet economy. So two very simple, maybe too simplistic answers or solutions, but nevertheless they are the only solutions. Educate yourself, understand what's going on around you. You are not living at the time of peace. You are in a state of war, and you have precious little time to save yourself. You don't have much time, especially if you are talking about young generation. There's not much time left for convulsions to the beautiful disco music very soon it will go, just overnight. If we are talking about capitalists or wealthy businessmen, I think they are selling the rope on which they will hang very soon. If they don't stop, if they cannot curb their
corporate culture.
unsettled desire for profit, and if they keep on trading with the monster of the Soviet communism, they are going to hang very soon. And they will pray to be killed, but unfortunately they will be sent to Alaska probably to manage industry of slaves. It's simplistic. I know it sounds unpleasant. I know Americans don't like to listen to things which are unpleasant. But I have defected not to tell you the stories about such idiocy as microfilm, James Bond type espionage. This is garbage. You don't need any espionage anymore. I have come to talk about survival. It's a question of survival of this system. You may ask me, what is it in for me?
I'll put the link.
Survival, obviously. Because unlike, as I said,
in the chat here.
I am now in your boat. If we sing together, we'll sing beautifully together. There is no other place on this planet to defect to.
Terrifying stuff. But yeah, Yuri Bezmenov in 1985 telling you exactly what was going to happen. And here we are living it. Here we are living it with crazy pants, woke culture, crazy pants, woke corporate culture, where Elon Musk goes to buy Twitter and people are clamoring for safe spaces. The staff at Twitter losing their minds. I saw a great meme somebody put in the Discord today, and it just killed me. I gotta share it with you guys. I think it summed it up just perfectly. Let me just get this. Boom, there it is. There is Twitter. That is woke Twitter raging out. That one killed me. That's just a perfect example of what's going on. Now, I have gone a little bit long. This is probably the longest stream I've done yet. But I've been having a lot of fun with this and talking about these things with you guys. Definitely happy that I've shared this. Elon suggests removing the W from Twitter. I thought that was hilarious. That was great. But you guys are great sports, and thank you for coming out and hanging out with me on this Thursday instead of the Friday on the usual live stream day. Sorry I didn't give you guys a bigger heads up for that whole thing, but it is a holiday, and I'm gonna be hanging out with my wife and kids for the holiday. So enjoy the long weekend, folks. Yeah, that's right. Unanimous Gamer, thank you for coming in and moderating tonight, as well as I saw Noob and I saw Chris Ruthless in the chat. And thank you, all of you for coming out and hanging out with me on this this live stream Thursday. Happy Easter, everyone. And definitely wanted to. Oh, one thing I'll do is I'll make sure I put the link for that video in the description of the video that goes up. So anyone who's watching this after the fact can get a link to that Yuri Bezmenov interview. I think it would be great to share around to all your friends, and especially the ones that don't think that this is going on. The people that think, young people, they're just being crazy. I remember my college days. It won't go out of the universities. It won't go into, and then they start seeing it going into, now into businesses, and people are being forced in. Their children are getting the critical race theory shoved down their throats in schools, and the teachers want to talk about their weird sexual fetishes to kindergartners and stuff like that. People need to wake up to this stuff. It's happening, and we all need to. I'd like to just go to work and do my job and come home and hang out, watch a movie. I haven't watched a movie in a long time because I'm doing all this stuff. But you know, somebody's got to do it. It needs to be done, and we need to get this information out to people, and let them know what's going on in the world. So I'll make sure to share that link. So anyone who's watching this, share it out to everybody, you know, put it on all your social media feeds and let people know what's happening. And don't forget to share this video and share and give it a like and let everybody know you've been watching this channel. What was it? I wanted to say Dave from Live from the Shed got in contact with me recently. I'm gonna hopefully do something with him coming up soon. Live from the Shed, if you don't know who that is, Dave, he runs a YouTube channel that got started during the convoy, and you should check him out as well. Go check him out. He's doing a great job. He's been keeping on it. But yeah, otherwise, I'm gonna end this stream now, and we'll talk to you guys in the next video. I don't know, maybe if I have a free moment and something comes up, I could post some videos over the weekend, but don't expect it. Expect something for sure back on Tuesday. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging.